Hasan Piker, one of the most prominent political streamers on Twitch, on the gaming platform Twitch, although now it's becoming more than that, has been for a long time, has been banned. Now, I should say this is a temporary ban, so most likely only maybe a few days, maybe a week, I think a week at most, but still has been banned. It's great to see. We've talked about Hasan Piker in the past. And yeah, have discussed him several times, so maybe people can look those episodes up for more context. And what did he get banned for? Well, we cannot know for certain, but we have a good understanding. So let's take a look at the clip he actually got banned for, or most likely got banned for. And specifically, he was talking about the Alex Pretty situation, the ICE killing, and he was going through an article, and he just couldn't help himself and had to say this.
Two senior national security officials tell me that there are more than a dozen secret and obscure watch lists that Homeland Security and the FBI are using to track protesters, both anti-ICE and pro-Palestinian. This is another big suck my dick to all the fucking Israel dick riders out there, you fucking rabid ultra-Zionist pigs. You fucking run around going, oh my God, Israel first, Israel first. Why are you tying this back to Palestine? Because this is precisely the fucking same shit. Okay? You Israel first monsters, dude. Jesus fucking Christ. How can you fucking say that when the first...
So most likely would be basically when Twitch bans somebody, they usually don't say publicly what exactly they got banned for. There are people who have been banned for years and still don't really know what they got banned for. But Hasan Piker, after this, posted something on his X, which we can go into. But most likely he got banned for the phrase Zionist pigs, this specific part, which would go to, there's been apparently an update into Twitch, a hateful conduct policy, where it actually recognizes that when people use Zionist, they mean Jews. That's what they mean. It's an absolute dog whistle, especially coming from Hasan, who I believe absolutely is an anti-Semite, like actually hate Jews for being Jewish. And yeah, the sort of new thing, new culture that I've seen on Twitch is people simply don't say Jews, they say Zionist. And we sometimes talk about anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism, but the fact is, when somebody is so obsessed with Jews, with Israel, I think it's definitely coming from someplace. So he has been reading on this clip. He's been reading article from Ken Klippenstein, who I think I've seen somewhere before. Generally, I think he is like an all-right journalist who looks, gets documents and tries to talk to people in administration to get news, but is definitely sort of on the left. But the specific part he has been talking about is that the FBI has a database of anti-ICE protesters, of Antifa, of pro-Palestinian protesters, and this is the connection Hasan was looking for to Israel. By the way, I would say FBI should absolutely keep track of, I think, people who might potentially violate the law or have already done so and might commit to something more, especially since we've seen with all these groups, we've seen with Antifa basically involving themselves in rioting. Now, Antifa doesn't have a central group, so it's hard to follow. But people in that group, or who say are part of that group, have participated in rioting. So I think FBI should keep track of that. In the same way, FBI kept track of like the KKK members. When it comes to anti-Israel protesters, well, or pro-Palestinian protesters, whatever you want to call it, well, we've seen them violating property rights, attacking people, murdering people. We'll talk about one of them at some point later in the show. And even when it comes to the anti-ICE people, right? Yeah, you might have a lot of, I think, normal protests, which is absolutely okay. But yeah, you have a lot of attacks on ICE officers. You have a lot of, attacks on general law enforcement. So even those people should absolutely, potentially be tracked for. I mean, if sort of like being on some list is used as, or being part of simply a protest is automatically used as a justification for a crackdown, well, that's wrong. But yeah, keeping track of people who might potentially violate should absolutely happen. I don't. I don't think this is a good point he's trying to make. But yeah, look at the lines he used, right? Israel first, Israel dick riders, fucking rabbit, ultra Zionist pigs, Israel first monsters. Come on, he is not talking about people who he's not talking about just broadly, the crazy people who support Israel. He is talking about pretty much anybody, and he is talking about Jews. This is absolutely what he's talking about. So I mean, in that way, I would say the Twitch ban is fair. Now we will talk about generally the Twitch policy in a bit. I'm just trying to look at the chat on what people are saying. He isn't Cheng's cousin, he's Cheng Yuger's nephew. We will actually be talking about Cheng Yuger as well in the upcoming days, since Cheng Yuger has been on Tucker Carlson show, all of places. Somebody says, I know Hassan is right. You can tell me what in what way, and I can mention that. But no, Hassan is absolutely like straight up pro-terrorist, pro-jihadi, pro-Hamas, and this is not even. I don't think this is even something controversial. I'm not. I think he would try to deny it because it's still not a good thing to straight up come up in support of terrorists. But this is absolutely something that he is in favor of. After this ban, he responds on his X, and this is why we understand that this was most likely the reason he was banned. So this is his X. You can say Nazi pig on Twitch. You can say Democrat pig. You can say Republican pig. You can say Islamist pig. You cannot say Zionist pig. The ADL, which is an arm of Israel's suppression in the West that works with law enforcement and does espionage, has made it a bannable offense. Uh, so here again, right? ADL. Uh, I as far as I understand, it's not like a registered foreign agent, so he's not acting on behalf of Israel. Now, obviously, it's a sort of organization that is focusing on anti-Semitism. There's nothing wrong in that. Um, and yeah, again, what stereotype is he doing here, right? The Jews are controlling American law enforcement and are like spying on Americans. Jews are spying on Americans. Or, he can hide behind Israel. He can hide behind Israeli. But especially when he uses something like Zionist, right? Like 90% of Jews consider themselves Zionists. I think I've seen something like vast majority of Jews consider themselves Zionists. So you're not talking about like when he says Zionist, he's not talking about like in Israel, maybe Ben Gvir's party or like 5 to 10% of the population. He is talking about pretty much almost every single Jew. Uh, well, or here is the thing, right? The only Jews he's not talking about is the Jews that are basically agreeing with him, right? He would probably say, well, I don't consider Noam Finkelstein. Or, if you are with me when it comes to destruction of Israel, I wouldn't put you in this category. Well, first, also when he says about that you can call people Democrat, Republican, Islamist, Nazi pigs on Twitch, I mean, even that is questionable. Basically, when it comes to Twitch policy, my understanding is, they have the thing about protected classes that they shouldn't be attacked. But then separately, which, I think when people are using Zionist as an insult, I think it's almost always standing for Jews, so I understand that. And also, even like generally, hatred towards groups is a bannable offense for Twitch. Hassan should know this. He was banned in the past for saying cracker. Many other Twitch people have been banned for the same thing. So this is not even uncommon. So he should absolutely know this. Somebody is asking, is Hassan really important? As I've said, he is one of the biggest political streamers on Twitch. especially when it comes to the left or when it comes to this pro-Hamas. Well, I don't think there is even any like sort of like reasonable left on Twitch at this point. I think most of them were banned or simply are not participating there. Pretty much anybody on the left politically on Twitch needs to agree with Hasan. He is very particular when it comes to enforcing. I mean, he's a communist, right? He wants to enforce his doctrine of his political doctrine, and he is doing that on Twitch. So anybody pretty much on the left on Twitch is following his views. Now, when it comes to Twitch, he's complaining about the policy. Um, so I would, I guess, kind of agree. Twitch has been pretty bad on policy. I call this episode like Twitch finally standing up to anti-Semitism, because I think Twitch has allowed a lot of anti-Semitism to fester on the platform. And yeah, when it comes to Twitch enforcement, it's not consistent. It's very they pretty much only answer to pressure, really. It's only when there is pressure for them to do something, that's when they ban people. People who follow Twitch might remember, I don't know if this was like a year ago, but a lot of people around Hasan Piker uh, have been banned for different offenses, but a lot of them had to basically do with anti-Semitism. And that happened because there was some pressure coming after Twitch. So yeah, most likely Twitch has gotten some pressure and had to do something. But generally, they have been very lenient on Hasan, who straight up does terrorist propaganda. And I'm not even saying that as, what I want Twitch to do, because I think I don't like Twitch at this point. I don't think it's a good company. Um, especially in its moderation enforcement. But Hassan has straight up like played Houthi like propaganda songs on his channel. Has played Hezbollah propaganda songs on his channel, which are designated terrorist organization, and you cannot do that on Twitch. Even if you criticize it, which by the way he wasn't even criticizing those organizations. He's a fan of them. But even if he was, you are still not allowed to do that. So uh, Ray says it's a two-tiered system. Big money makers get slaps on the wrist. That is why everyone big from Piker to Ayn Rand keep getting brought back after bans. I mean, yeah, I think that's a good point. Twitch is very basically beholden to the biggest creators. I mean, you could understand it to some extent, right? If they are your biggest people, you want to keep them around, you want to keep working with them. But it is at a point where the whole culture basically moves around what one person says, specifically Hassan, who again is no owner of the company. And even Twitch is not owner of itself in a way, because Twitch is owned by Amazon. So I hope some pressure will come from Amazon itself. But as I've said, I don't hold in dear the whole Twitch platform, and I haven't for a while. I wish I worked for Mossad. It's a good way to make money. But no, I mean this is not some kind of crazy thing I'm saying. If you stand for, I mean, just take broadly somebody like Hassan Piker, right? If you are somebody who's American, or if you are somebody who's pro-American, who likes the Constitution, who likes American capitalism, who likes what made America great, which is capitalism, which is freedom, which is the Enlightenment values. Or even if you are somebody in the UK, somebody in France, anybody living in Western states, or living even outside, but simply have appreciation for Western values, Hassan Piker stands against everything of that. He doesn't like America. He doesn't like capitalism. He doesn't like America. He's, anti-American first, almost always. He said America deserved 9/11. Now this goes back, I think, like 10 years, but probably still believes in that. He basically called for like killing of landlords, and sort of recently, right? Um, all of his attacks on America. He went to China to basically do like propaganda for the Chinese Communist Party. So like nobody should be a fan of this guy. No decent human being should actually follow this guy. This is not like your moderate Democrat or moderate Republican, whatever that means, or somebody generally who likes the American system, just wants it to go in a different way that, we might have some understanding for. This is somebody who wants the American system to disappear. He wants to turn America into a hellhole. Um, uh, so, uh, so yeah, that is what he stands for. Um, So I would say generally the Twitch has been so lenient on Hasan that it's terrible. I'm trying to scan the chat. Somebody's asking, is Hasan American? I believe, yeah, he's a citizen. Ray says he deleted his Twitch account over a year ago. Somebody is asking in the chat, bro, you're a Zionist or a Jew. Don't ask like there is a difference. I mean, for those people, there isn't, right? They are saying and they mean the same thing. But I want to go a bit broadly into like generally these people on the left who make everything about Palestinians and Jews. Well, I guess I mentioned I'll do a little bit of a teaser for I think I don't know if we do it. I believe we either do it on Monday or Tuesday, but we're gonna do the uh, Tucker Carlson with Cenk Uygur. And somebody counted, and apparently during their conversation, which is like, I don't know, hour and a half, they mentioned Israel like over 200 times or something, like hundreds of times, which if you like spread it out would be like once about 37 seconds or something like that. So this is what we're dealing with. We are dealing with people who are obsessed with Jews, who are obsessed with Israel. There is no other state. There is no other state like Israel that has this amount of obsession, especially from the left. And there is no amount of like we've seen the clip from earlier ago from Hassan, right? In this whole article, which was about ICE, he found like one mention of Palestinians, and that's what he made the whole thing about. Even when it comes to, I mean, something I've seen is them calling it like Israel, like Israel with ICE, Israel, or something like that. So they are absolutely obsessed. This is not just, uh, I mean, there is like a question, like imagine, not to mention, right? We are not dealing with a state that is bad. Israel is not bad. It's not like they're obsessed with, you know, during World War II, they would be like obsessed. They probably wouldn't be, but let's say they would be like obsessed with Nazi Germany and like fighting it. It's like, okay, it's probably a right obsession to have. But Israel is not doing anything bad. Israel hasn't done anything bad. The amount of hatred it gets is not only it's not proportional to like badness it does, it, it's completely irrelevant because it is not about the hatred for Israel isn't about the faults it does. It is about the good it is. It is about because it's a Jewish state. It is because it's a state that is standing up to Western values. That is even to some extent standing up for capitalism, standing up for the Enlightenment values. That's why it gets its hatred. Um, so I want to cover, yeah, just generally this obsession, because one comment I've made a couple of times when it came to the last presidential election, I've talked about how I think there is a non-zero chance that the Palestinian issue won the election for Donald Trump, but from the other direction. Basically, that people on the left were so hateful towards Biden administration because it was too pro-Israel. Now, if anybody who's actually pro-Israel views Biden's administration as too pro-Israel, that there's something wrong with that sentence. There's something going wrong. But still, like for the left, like there were nicknames, right? Genocide Harris and Genocide Joe. Those weren't nicknames from the right. Those were nicknames from the left. That both Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were too pro-Israel. Now, this I've seen a story today in Times of Israel, which I think fits well here, where apparently there was a assassination attempt last year during the debate between Biden and Trump, where a Free Palestine activist tried to assassinate Biden. He wasn't allowed in the building, but he had a gun and he confessed. He had a manifesto ready, and he confessed that he wanted to kill Joe Biden because of the Palestinian issue. Now, just imagine you have Trump on stage and Biden on stage, and your whole issue is Israel, and you kill Biden. Like, I'm not saying he like should have went for Trump or something like that. I'm glad he was stopped. But just think of like how much disconnected from reality you have to be to like believe in something like that. And sort of like going back to like connecting both to how Hassan talks about how pro-Palestinian people are targeted because of what pro-Palestinianism stands for. Look at the like, by the way, this person I mentioned who tried to kill Biden, he wasn't hiding what he tried to do. Think back about Elias Rodriguez, the guy who killed the Jewish couple in front of Jewish museum and yelled "Free Palestine" after. He wasn't scared about the decision he's making. They are very open about it. The pro-Palestinian people are very open about that. It's not about Palestinians, it's about Jews, and they hate them and they want to kill them. And by the way, what was Hassan's reaction to Elias Rodriguez? Well, he on his live stream, he read his manifesto. He said he was genuine. Elias Rodriguez was genuine in his murder of the Jewish couple in Washington, D.C. He said he was genuine in his actions and maybe a little bit brave broken. And I said he showed his manifesto and he said he tried to like understand him. He tried to understand his point of view. He tried to understand the point of view of a person who has a manifesto about Gaza, uh, which is completely straight up, everything bad comes from Hamas propaganda. Or again, there is nothing when it comes to the Israeli actions on Gaza. The only thing bad happening is how reluctant Israel was to do something about it. We are dealing with a culture, the Palestinian culture, that is not fit for human civilization. That is not like an ethnical thing. That is not a racial thing. That is the ideas they have chosen. On October 7th, it was Hamas and it was Palestinian civilians who participated in October 7th. On the streets of Gaza, on the streets of Ramallah, it was Palestinians who celebrated the actions on October 7th. Now, 2 years later, all Palestinians believe October 7th was the right decision. This is the culture we're dealing with. And the idea that the way to stop this is because, or the way this is a problem is because Israeli reaction was too tough. I mean, you should think for yourself I'm just, I'm giving you the point of view I have, and I'm giving you what I see and what I think is happening. But finally, you have to decide what you actually believe in. If you believe Hasan Piker and his recollection of events and his view on the Israeli-Palestinian situation, and he contributed to this propaganda. But again, this is what we're dealing with. Like a person who makes a manifesto, specifically Elias Rodriguez, makes a manifesto about Gaza, kills a Jewish couple in front of a Jewish museum, and yells "Free Palestine" when he does it. Do we really have to figure out his like reasoning? Like, what is he actually about? What does he actually believe in? I think it's pretty clear. Uh, Now the investigation, from the law enforcement should happen to whatever end they need and to bring a case against him. But I think generally from outside, it is pretty obvious. We have a super chat from Bonnie. Thank you so much. Somebody says Hassan soon will be deported. He's a citizen, so and I don't think Hassan, for every hate I have towards him, I don't think he has done anything illegal. I should take that back. He maybe has done something illegal. But if he has done something illegal or something he broke law, he should be investigated, and even then end up in American jail. He's an American citizen. I don't think it's proper uh, to deport American citizens. Um, so yeah, but yeah, as far as I know, I don't think there's nothing public about his about like him breaking a law or something. So here I'm calling for his, in a sense, deplatforming. I think he's somebody who absolutely shouldn't get um, any position on any platform because of the way he decides to use it. Because again, when you go to Twitch, it's a lot of young people who, end up having to choose between listening to Hasan Piker or Asmongold. Um, Asmongold is somebody on the right who is in some cases equally as crazy as Hassan, just from the other side. But that's not what we are talking about today. So that's why I found Twitch a very problematic platform. It's a platform where oftentimes you talk politics, but the people that are talking politics are the worst kind of people, especially for young people to listen to. Um, well, I'm trying to see if I have anything more to add. Um, so, so, so yeah, I mean, I guess just wrapping up. Uh, I think it's great to see. Oh, we have a super chat from Bonnie. I'm not sure if I read it. If I didn't, thank you again. Um, so yeah, going back to Sam Piker, it's great to see this. It's great to see some at least pushback about what he says. Again, calling somebody a Zionist pig, an individual incident maybe you can excuse, but Hassan has a policy of anti-Semitism. Like again, if you are not convinced by today's episode, go back to the past videos we did about Hassan Piker. If you watch them all and you come out with thinking Hassan Piker is not anti-Semitism, is not anti-Semitic, or that is not his like mode of operandum, that is not one of his bases for being obsessed with Israel, um, then I'm not sure what to do. I can't really help you from there. You have independent mind. You should think for yourself and come to the right conclusion. Somebody says free Kaya, absolutely. That is also something that should happen. Which, well, that's a whole incident that I won't bring up today. Just quick, somebody says Zionists can't take any critics without labeling as anti-Semitic. Hassan doesn't offer any criticism. We've discussed a lot of criticism in the past, and I say anti-Zionism doesn't necessarily mean anti-Semitism, but almost, I mean, anything I've seen from Hassan isn't criticism, isn't like a real thing. Uh, like it's simply not it, like, but I'd say that there's absolutely like I could see people like having certain problems with Israel, although specifically with Israel it's very hard. Oftentimes the criticism is rooted in anti-Semitism, or even the motivations or the way they are looking at the conflict uh is absolutely rooted in anti-Semitism, which is not even new, right? Anti-Semitism is not some new unseen things we have seen. It's probably one of the biggest or one of the oldest sort of like hatred toward certain groups. It has always been prominent in every sort of I don't know what to call it, but in any like Nazism, fascism, communism, any sort of political movement like that, any anti-liberal, anti-capitalist, anti-Western ideology usually holds anti-Semitism pretty dear to its heart, be it Hitler or be it Marx. So I don't think it's unbelievable to suspect that a communist might be anti-Semite or that a Nazi might be an anti-Semite. I think it's probably uh, comes with a package in a sense. Well, with that, thank you guys for joining me today. We'll be back tomorrow, uh, talking about a different topic, hopefully, on the daily objective. And as I've said, most likely, I believe on Monday, we'll be talking about Cenk Uygur and Tucker Carlson, talking about people being united in anti-Semitism, the far left and the far right, uh, find themselves pretty close when it comes to talking about Israel, talking about the state of Israel. At some point, they might be calling it the Zionist regime. That will probably be on the par with the kind of regimes they like. And most likely on Tuesday, we will be talking about Anna Kasparian, who also talked about Tucker. Anna Kasparian, who is very open in saying Iran should have nukes. This is the way we achieve peace, with Iran having nukes. So make sure to join us tomorrow, and make sure to join for the episodes on Monday and Tuesday as well as for the rest of the week. So thank you guys for joining me today. As I've said, we'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Daily Objective at 5:30 p.m. UK time. And until then, bye bye.